Hey everybody, and welcome to the from the warmer weather that's now hit New England. Hope everybody's getting excited to get out there and get photographs this year. I want everybody to think about expanding not only what they do, but expand where you put it. Make sure that you put it out on all social medias just so people can see your work. And doing that also make sure that you get it done, that you've gone out and taken pictures, right? So the other thing is if you're posting to social media and you're doing it weekly, you've gone out at least once a week. Might give you enough to post for a week every day, but you've gone out to go take some pictures. If you're going daily and you want to put something new up every single day, that drives you even more, right? That you've got to go out there and do something new every single day. You could post the same thing across all your social media, right? So you take a picture of a horse in a field, which is going to happen here soon. Reason I don't do those in the winter, even though the horses are out, is I like having the green grass, having some leaves in the trees when pictures are taken. Make it look more spring and summer-like. So I'll hold off on those a little bit, but you're going to take a picture of a horse. So you're putting a horse up on one. Maybe you've got a farm near you. So you're putting some cows over on that. You're doing some other things. So you're mixing up what you're doing. Just get out and get some pictures. And like I said, help the social media and your schedule that you set up for the social media help drive you a little bit, especially on days where you really don't feel like getting outside and doing anything. This will give you an impetus to go out and say, well, I need a picture. So I got to take a picture of something. I'm going to go take a picture of something. For me, I've got enough nature around the house that it works out. I've got my bear and my raccoons and my skunks and the deer. And right down the road from me is a horse farm, more or less. Guy's got a couple of horses, so I call it a horse farm. He doesn't have any cows. That's all he's got is a couple of horses out in the field. It's a horse farm. So they're there. Down the road in another direction, they have cows, and they have also a larger field. So they'll be planting crops like corn, and they'll have usually rent out one of the fields to somebody else who's got horses, and the horses will wander around in there as well. So for me, I've got a lot of nature around me that I can take photographs of. And of course, I've got hundreds of birds. But not everybody does. So I understand that it can be difficult to get out there and get certain pictures taken, depending on what's going on. But now you got nice weather, right? And if you don't have anything near you that you can take pictures of, walk. Get some exercise. You've been kind of tied up in your house now for several months. Now that the weather's getting nice, get out and take a walk and experience it. You're going to need to get those walking muscles and that endurance back up if you're going to be shooting events or anything like that this year. If you're just doing portraits, maybe not so much, because you can just stand there and take pictures of people over and over again. But if you're going to go out and do any event type stuff, be it a sporting event or a reenactment or anything like that, start to get yourself back into that groove. The last thing you want to do is be chasing after a reenactment or chasing something at a ball game, which, you could be pretty sedentary depending on what kind of ball game you're at, if it's a professional one. But if it's a league game, like for your kids' league or a high school game or something like that, where you have more flexibility to move around and get better shots, you're going to want to have that kind of endurance. The last thing you want is to have a leg cramp while you're trying to get a shot. So get out there and get yourself back acclimated to it. Plus, you don't want to put too much stress on yourself too quickly. If you've been sedentary for the winter, work your way back up to it. Get yourself back into that groove so that you're ready to go when the nicer weather comes around and you're outside the whole time. Also, bear in mind that when you get outside and do that kind of stuff, you're going to make sure that you got water, right? Carry it with you so that you can keep yourself hydrated. Sunscreen, anything like that you're going to need, because remember, it's been a year since you've really been out in the sun, or feels like more than a year since we had a really nice sunny day out there. So Last year you were out in the sun. Your body's adapted to not being in the sun, so you're going to need to cover yourself up a little bit until you get adapted again to what you need to, where your body needs to be for this year. But again, it's April. We're going to have a roller coaster ride of weather in this area. Temperature wise, it's going to be almost 70, and then it's going to go back down to the 40s and 30s and below. So take advantage of the days that we have that are good and get out and do what you need to do and get yourself set up for the photography for this year. And while you're out, what can you take pictures of? All right. So if you're going out and go for a walk, take a camera with you. You don't have to take your whole rig with you if you're not comfortable walking around with a full camera on you. But you got your phone, right? Get out there, and what would you take pictures of? And maybe you come back, you drive down to wherever it was in your car with the camera, and you take the pictures that you need and you go back. Maybe you want to do things with a drone. And so you're scouting out the area while you walk around and see, assuming that the area is eligible for you to use your drone. Always pay attention to any flight restrictions or any air restrictions that you may have for that area that you're in. Remember your airspace. But, get out there and see what you want to take. Take notes by using your camera phone to take pictures of things and jot yourself a little note about what you want to come back and do. So you're not just walking and increasing your endurance, but you're also getting out there and getting ideas for what you want to do. I like to do architecture sometimes. I go through phases of a whole bunch of things, and I love some really old style buildings. I just love to see those buildings, and I take photographs of them. There was a series of municipal buildings in Albany, New York, and it's the capital of New York. I wanted to take pictures, and it was shortly after some terrorist events, shall we say, or terrorist threats. And so when I went there, I made sure that the mayor of Albany knew I was coming, that it was okay for me to do that I was going to be walking around with a camera, taking pictures of buildings in Albany. And some of those buildings were going to be municipal buildings. One of them was a federal building. And I just wanted to let them know that I was going to be there, that I was going to be taking pictures. Some of the pictures are going to be inside the buildings, and I didn't want anybody to freak out, wondering why somebody was going around with a camera taking pictures of buildings. So I let them know in advance. Probably wouldn't do it this time, except for inside, if I was going to shoot inside a building. I was going to shoot inside the building that housed the mayor. I wanted to make sure that the mayor knew I was going to be there. So when you're doing things like that, make your plans now. What is it you want to do? What do you want to take pictures of? I love waterfalls. I love, like I said, structures, gardens. When I was down in Salem, one of my favorite places to go if I visited Salem is they have a large outdoor garden that's well tended. And, obviously you can walk in and walk around it, and I would go down there and take pictures of it. I just love that garden. It was a beautiful oasis of nature in the middle of a very compact little town. If you've ever been to Salem, there's not a lot of open space. Everything seems to be one on top of the other, kind of you would expect from a regular city. And you go from an area with these brick buildings that are just kind of stacked, or a row of this building that has multiple tenancies in it. And suddenly you end up with a house with a fence around it. And shortly after that is an open fenced area, and you can go in, and there's this beautiful garden in the back. It's a little on the outskirts of the town, but it's lovely to see that oasis within walking distance of the town. Of course, in Salem, it's not that big, so most of everything's in walking distance, but it's still nice to see. If you go to Hawthorne Manor down there, the old collection of houses that Hawthorne had, that's a little bit more in the open area than the rest. While there are multiple houses in that little area, there's more of a gap between the houses than you get in Center Salem, for example. But again, get out there, walk around a little bit. Where do you want to go? And do you want to travel this year? Bear in mind that if you're going to travel, it's going to be expensive. Gasoline prices are not going to come down anytime soon, regardless of what anybody says. So make your plans now as to what you want to do and figure out what it's going to cost. And then add another 10%, 10 to 15%, just in case, to cover any expenses that might go up because of it. Like if you're going to go someplace and have food, well, the food prices are going to go up because the food gets there by transport. Transport needs gas or oil or diesel, and that is going to raise the prices. So keep that in mind from any place you want to go and any place you want to stay. Things are going to be more expensive this year. That shouldn't stop you, if you can afford it, to go out and take shots of new places. But, bear that in mind. If you can afford it, then get out there and take shots of new places. Find new places to go look and take pictures. I know some people do street photography where they literally walk up to people on the street and take their picture. Again, if you're going to do something like that and you're going to use that in your social media or make that your thing, make sure that you have a clipboard with you filled with releases and have them sign that release right then and there. One of those nice clipboards with a built-in storage are great. You can just pop it open, take the sheet out, put it on the top, clip it in place. Those usually have a pen holder down the bottom, a closable pen holder, so you don't have to worry about anything getting lost. Give them a pen, have them sign it, pop it back in there. They're not signing it on your back. They're signing it on the clipboard, right? And you put it in there. You look more professional. You've got the material that you need for that right then and there. Make sure you take a snapshot or something with your camera phone as well, just so you can go in real quick and make a note of what the person's name was so that you can tie that person back to the release that you've got. So if there's any questions later on, you'll know exactly which release it is. And if you have the capability, take those images that you've got there and print those out as well and associate those images with the, clip it to that release so that you always have a reminder of what that person looked like. So if there's ever a question about, did you have the permission to use this person's image in whatever you did? Yes, I have a release. Here's the release. You can see this person's face is associated with the release and everything's good. If you have a tablet, or phone's a little difficult because it's so small, but if you have a tablet, there's an Easy Release Pro that would allow you to just put it on there. Most tablets have a pen capability, especially the Galaxy tabs. So make sure you got something like that. You've got that loaded on there. You've got your release in there, and they can sign it right then and there. And then you can email it to them from the app. So the app will store it until it's got a connection, and then it will send out all of those releases that you've gotten. And so the person will have a copy of their release, as well as you'll have a copy of the release, because you can also send it to yourself as well. So you've got it in the app, plus you've got a PDF, plus they've got a PDF, and you're covered all the way around. But that also allows you to take a picture of them, and the picture becomes part of that release, which is why I recommend something more along those lines, because then you don't have to worry about, oh, well, I took a picture of this person. Is this the right person? Is that the right person? I forgot to rename it. Whatever it is that you might actually have to do as an extra step. This way, all you have to do is go through and take the picture of them with the release, store it to the release. They sign the release at the bottom. You guys both get copies, and you're all set. So that's what I got for you guys this week. I will talk to you all next week.